This episode of the AI XR podcast is brought to you by our friends at Zapper. If you're in the XR space, you've probably felt the pain of juggling different tools, vendors, and platforms just to get an AR or VR project off the ground. It's exhausting, and it can really slow you down. That's where Zapper comes in. They've built a complete suite of tools and creative services all under one roof to make creating immersive experiences not just possible, but practical. Their next gen 3D web tool, Mattercraft, is a game changer for building immersive experiences for headsets, smartphones, and AR, VR, and WebXR. It combines the power and flexibility of the 3JS rendering engine with a rich visual editor, making it super intuitive and easy for designers and developers to use. Put simply, you get the creative freedom of a powerful 3D engine with none of the headaches. So if you're ready to take your immersive projects to the next level, head over to zapper.com and see what they can do for you.
Hello.
Hey,
Prague.
thank you, Artur.
In physical.
I know we've never met in the real.
But hello again. Wow, that's fantastic.
We've had so many conversations in cyberspace over the last 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. And now we're finally here.
I know, it's great. I love Prague. My wife is Czech. She's in heaven. Absolute heaven. I wanted to, I'm like, I've never been to Germany. I've never been to Italy. It's like, no, we're spending the whole time in the Czech Republic.
So I can't blame her. It's
so, oh man, I love the food. I love Prague. So it's great to be here. And it's great to be able to meet friends that I've never met in person. So that's a very funny aspect to the way the world changed in the last 10 years. I walked into your office and it's a really cool tech office, and it, 5 years ago would have been filled with people and toys and guys with their back turned.
Toys are still here.
But many of the toys
people are all remote.
Artur has a shocking collection, a collection that would rival Ori Inbar's of VR and also MR headsets. Of course, Artur, most of you know, at least on his podcast, that among other inclinations, he's in the hardware business, but also he's the founder of Somnium Space, the metaverse, the PC VR metaverse, where many people set up shop and do commerce and anything you want to do in Web3.
Yeah, avatars.
But the big business now is the VR1 Somnium headset.
You just tried it.
It.
Oh yeah, that's true. You'll get this T-shirt too.
Oh, excellent. I was going to admire it, but I didn't want to angle too hard into the T-shirt.
Nice. So you just tried it. Maybe tell how did you feel?
I had the same feeling I had whenever I put on these headsets that are like 3K per eye, 4K per eye, because at first you're dizzy, right? It's better than human eye
your
resolution. So at first I'm like, well, I mean, can I move around in here? And it very quickly also, the 3D part of it works on your brain way more quickly, right? There's no suspension of disbelief. You don't see any pixels.
Yep.
The first experience like that high resolution experience I had was with your partner Xtal.
Mm-hmm.
And this is 2017, I think.
Yep.
And I put on their headset. It was so heavy, it had to be cantilevered. So there was a weight and a cable on top to keep, because it weighed like 10 pounds. That's like heavier than your head. Yep. So I'm wearing it, but after a few minutes, you kind of forget about that. I mean, and the cable was like, this thick. I'm holding like my hand, like a substantial cable. Yeah. But I walked around. It was a little room scale experience, and I could read the titles on the spines of books.
Yep.
And so, reaching out for the books and trying to pull them off the shelf. Then they showed me a BMW experience they created for, I guess, BMW design. And it is so detailed. You can read, even the little branding that's on a lot of the dials. And then I was sitting down in a chair and I kept trying to open the door so I could get out. Now, of course, that was only for a second, but my brain was so convinced that I was sitting in a car. So I had that exact same experience using your headset, and I thought, wow, this is super light, and probably at this point, a small percentage of the cost of that headset in 2017.
Yeah, of course. I mean, our headset ranges from $3,000, let's say, to $4,000, depending on the variant you go. So what you tried is the full variant. translucent edition, which you can see.
I know that was cool looking.
Yeah. So we don't sell it anymore because it was a limited edition, but customers bought it. Thank you for doing that. And this is the full variant. So you have mixed reality, hand tracking, and eye tracking built in. But some people just buy VR1s just with the eye tracking because they don't need mixed reality, they don't use it anywhere. And then it's even lighter. Then the visuals are still the same, but they just get an eye tracking.
So, well, it's a beautiful headset.
Thank you.
Feels really good.
Thank you.
I gather you're selling a lot.
I like it. It's built in Czech Republic.
I know.
Physically built in.
I know. That's not easy. Would have been a lot easier.
Yeah, the only company in the world who's building consumer headsets in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, would have been because it's so much cheaper and easier to ship them overseas. Although you're doing small quantities, right?
Smaller, yes, but we're growing.
So, and your customers are developers. I mean, do you have many consumers?
VR enthusiasts. Yes, we have VR enthusiasts.
Prosumers, let's call
it. Correct. Right now, we're still mainly prosumers, but the interest is very quickly shifting towards businesses, universities, and pilot training / military use cases. Yeah. We have a lot of inquiries and a lot of customers given already testing and implementing the headsets into their pipelines because the mixed reality capabilities, the quality of visuals, it's up there on the top.
And real simulators are just, with motion bases.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
That's what prosumers are using it for mainly. Racing simulators and flight simulators.
Yes, that's
DCS, Microsoft.
Have you used a racing simulator?
Oh, I'm using it. My kids love it too.
Oh my God, racing simulator is what you don't realize playing handheld games is how freaking hard it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you have to touch the wheel like you're touching a feather, man.
Yeah.
No wonder. And I guess during the pandemic, they had professionals using those simulators and they were racing each other.
Oh yeah. My kids are 9 and 12 and I'm trying to use so I use VR1 plus the Euro Truck simulator. I mean, it's funny, but because it has a really good simulation of roads and normal cars and stuff like that.
Sure.
So I teach them how to drive and I show them in VR. So they're in VR driving this truck. I have the wheel at home and stuff. And I'm saying like, okay, this, you have to turn right. You have to let this guy, you do see the signs. I'm literally like teaching them how to drive using the VR1 and Euro Truck simulator.
And how well do your kids speak English?
They do quite well.
So we were with my wife's relatives last night. She has lots of cousins here. And the cousins who are, our age, speak English okay, because they learned it for work, but after, the 90s. Whereas all the kids, I'm like, wow, they must be really good at school. Jane's cousin goes, it's video games.
Yeah. Movies and video games. Yeah.
It says like English is the universal language of video games.
It's
so
true.
People learn from playing Fortnite.
Very true. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Fortnite, but it's true. It's true.
Well, this is an interesting question because it brings us back to Somnium Space, right? Because in terms of what is the metaverse and who is the metaverse, my take, I'd love to hear what you think of this, but my take is like games kind of won, like Fortnite, Roblox, even like Grand Theft Auto and World of Warcraft and Call of Duty are their own virtual worlds. Now they're closed systems. They're not what Matthew Ball and others have hypothesized, which would be all those places connected together.
There will be in one place.
I don't know what the benefit would be anyway, but okay, maybe they'll
tell you.
Okay. Yeah, okay, well that's good. That's a good segue. Go.
No, so when I speak about metaverse on any conference or if I'm being asked what the metaverse is, I always say the metaverse has to have at least 3 pillars to be able to be called a metaverse. Now, pillar number 1, in my opinion, I'm an old school guy, it has to be immersive. When I say immersive, it needs to be VR.
Oh, you need to be VR. So now you're going down the old Zuckerberg perception.
No, Zuckerberg was actually after we started to do that. Like he
That's
came with
true.
his old
That's
branding.
true.
Let me be clear on the
fair. Props for that.
I just want to say why I say it needs to be immersive. Whether it's XR or VR, like mixed reality or full VR, your brain needs to believe that whatever you're seeing is real and you need to be fully immersed in that place or experience. Okay? Yes, some people can say that you can be immersed in Fortnite 2D game on monitor, but it's never, VR. It's not even near of what you can experience.
It is not. It is actually not an experience.
Exactly.
It's a game experience. Exactly. It's not a immersive.
Exactly. So that's pillar number 1. So it has to be immersive. Number two, it has to be persistent, meaning that if you change something in the game, example, you are in city center in Somnium, you are on top of the building, you went up with an elevator, and then you look at the mountain, which is 5 miles away. You see the top of the mountain. If you have a good headset and someone with a bright avatar is on the top of that mountain, you will see that person. You will see the dot, something is happening, but it's real time. If the person affects something in the metaverse, you see the effect of that person.
So in other words, if I went and carved my name in the door of that elevator, when I came back the next day, it would still be there.
Correct. That's the ideal scenario of how the metaverse should be. Now, it's not new concept. The concept of this was basically invented in 1999 by Richard Garriott in Ultima Online, where it's a 2D experience, but it was a persistent 2D experience. So whatever I did in that game, and that's had a huge world, was real time transmitted to all the players. So if I come to that location, I saw that. Now that is very important because our life is persistent. We are used to persistent stuff. And of course, if you do something, it needs to affect other people and other people.
We accept in video game worlds that they reset.
Correct. But it shouldn't be like that. Especially if we come to the pillar.
So you're saying in Call of Duty, once we attack a building and blow the thing up, it remains blown up.
Call of Duty, that's why Call of Duty is not a metaverse. You see, it's a game.
That's true. Well, persistence is actually something that Matthew Ball talks about a lot.
Yes.
In fact, it sounds like your primary disagreement with Matthew is on whether or not VR is a requirement for metaverse.
I think being immersive is a requirement.
Well, again, I mean, so there is a difference of opinion.
Could be mixed reality. Like if you,
but you know, you could take a person who is into Fortnite and is on a relatively big screen leaning into it and say, well, between suspension of disbelief and actually the percentage of the field of view that the game is taking up, it's immersive.
It's no, it's. I mean, I play, games.
No, I know. I'm being a bit of a devil's advocate because their position. If we had Matthew here or anybody from Epic Games would say, well, it is immersive. People suspend their disbelief.
No, it's okay, but it's if you take the same person and you give them a headset and put them in Half-Life Alyx, they would freak out.
Right, because the suspension of disbelief is the requirement of it is not the same.
Exactly. Yeah. It will be 100x or 200x, So there are two pillars. And now the third pillar is very important. It needs to be decentralized. And I just gave a talk in Ethereum Prague conference. And why I'm saying this, right now, as you just said, all the experiences are boxed. They are walled gardened and they're closed. The user itself, the person, is not in control of anything in those games, meaning they don't own their profiles. They don't own anything they bought throughout the years.
Right.
It's all on the servers of that company.
Right.
There's no, the only proof is that the company is showing them in their account that it's there.
Sure.
And they cannot transact, they cannot control or take it with them if they want to. They cannot leave the platform because everything is that platform. Why is the problem? The problem is not that you cannot have fun on a centralized. You can. The problem is if you want to call something a metaverse, the metaverse is a long-term thing. I played Ultima Online for 10 years, okay? In meanwhile, it happened to me 3 times that they banned my account for different reasons, various reasons. They did a mistake, they banned my account, I lost everything after 2 years of play. I had to start over again, then they banned again because the server was reconnected, whatever. So that is bad because if you want if my kids start playing,
I'm surprised that you started over after they did that to you.
Yeah, I started over a different server, but again, it's I like the game, but the point is, if I had the capabilities of taking all my money which I earned in that Ultima Online, that server, or in starting over again, but keep my money, that is fantastic already. But if you really want to build a metaverse for another, because that's how I look at metaverse. It's a place where you could reside for all your life, ideally. You need to be able to always control your money, your experience, and your belongings. If you buy something,
excuse me,
it's true. Bless you. But if you buy something digitally, it has to you the same or even higher value sometimes than the physical things. I care about my wearables of my avatars and Somnium, to be honest, more than whatever I wear in real life, because that's where I spend my time. That's where I have my friends, and that's where I party with them on the parties, right? So that's my social experience. And I don't want, in a case of me buying something from you, I don't want Somnium at some point going crazy and saying like, okay, now I want your money and you'll get nothing. Why would I, as Somnium Space, or why would I, as a user, accept that? And that's the biggest point. For the platforms, there is a negative incentive to do that. Why? Because, and I can tell you from the first experience, it's very hard to build a sustainable community where people have zero barrier to leave your platform and they don't lose anything. Because they can come and go and they can stay. Many stay, but many also go. If they don't like something, they can just take all their money and they can leave. They can their all stuff. They can sell on any marketplace in the world all their belongings to other users and they can leave.
Right. Well, the reason they put up with it is because of the scale of the platform.
Sure, but if you think about it,
I mean, that's the price of the scale.
Yeah. If you're getting something for free, generally you are the product. You itself,
right. Well, that's
product.
That old saying, right? If you're not paying for a product or service, you are the product.
It's exactly that.
Yeah.
The problem is the consequences. Many people don't understand the consequences. The kids who are today being embedded into the meta, Quest ecosystem, right? They don't think about it today, with where their all accounts are, where their friends are, but what happens in 10 years if Meta decides to discontinue Quest or they decide to ban you? You lose everything. What you've experienced for the past 10 years. It's a very painful experience. Many people can tell. If you play the games like this and you lost something like World of Warcraft, suddenly you lose, or Fortnite, whatever. It's a painful experience. You're betting your attention towards those platforms. You give them your attention. You give them your creativity. Sometimes you create something and you don't own it. You have zero, so for me, there are many more pillars, but these three, if this is kind of there, then you can start calling something a metaverse. Again, immersive, in my opinion, has to be immersive, decentralized, and persistent. If these three things are there, then you can start saying, okay, it has the qualities of metaverse, which could be then expanded to something more, because we can talk about creative tools, the openness and open sourceness of stuff, the interoperability capabilities, and all of those things are true. But in marketing, these three are the key factors.
So you have a cryptocurrency.
Yeah, we have a utility token on blockchain which people use to buy and sell stuff in.
And what is the value of the utility token?
It changes. It changes depending on the demand of users, how they exchange this. We don't control it. It's fully decentralized. We don't even have control of that currency anymore. Completely, it's completely decentralized currency.
So it's complete decent. So there's a finite amount of it.
It's a finite amount of it. It's known to everyone. It's visible on chain. It's a utility token which is out there, and we cannot issue more, and we cannot control it. We cannot take it away from you. It's out there.
So if you and I exchange, what is the crypto called?
It's Somnium Space cubes.
So if we exchange cubes, can you exchange the cubes for fiat currency?
So directly not. You can go and exchange cubes for, actually, you can go and exchange cubes for Ethereum or for Polygon tokens or for, DAI tokens. So there's many.
So if I have a big pile of cubes and I want cash, I would use the cubes to buy Ethereum someplace. Where would I do that?
You can do it on Uniswap in decentralized marketplaces or exchanges, or you can do it on Gemini, which is the centralized regulated exchange. With Gemini, I think there you can directly even exchange cubes for dollars, and then you can withdraw the dollars on your.
I see. When you launched, that's a pretty sophisticated user that would be able to do that.
That's why we're working on the fiat payments via Stripe as well soon.
Oh yeah. Oh right, you mentioned that
in June actually.
Oh, it is June now.
Yeah. So at the end of the month, you'll be able to connect your credit card to your account.
That is cool.
And then you're able to pay.
The pandemic was great for VR. We had. It wasn't quite ready at the beginning, but by the time 2022 rolled around, it was a great way to be present with people if you had to be apart.
Absolutely.
And I have to say, I spent so much time in VR. I probably spent 30 or 40 hours a week in VR during the pandemic. And, you know, I teach VR
Yeah.
and I spend, I'm going to say, a couple of hours a month on average in VR.
Okay.
So it's so much less.
Yep.
Of course, you know, if a new pandemic started tomorrow, we'd all be we'd all be a lot better prepared and the technology would be there.
Yep.
Right. There'd probably all of a sudden all these headsets that are selling for, you know, cheap on eBay would suddenly acquire tremendous value.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, during pandemic, being in VR was the holy grail because you can
Yeah.
meet with friends.
Yeah.
You can have fantastic experiences like discos and, you know, art discussions and all of this stuff. Or just even
In fact, it was during the pandemic that I was on your
Yep.
podcast, although I guess it was the Somnium chat VR.
Yeah, it was. We're in Somnium. I remember the studio was in one of our parcels.
Yes. Yes.
And we built the studio there, and we were.
Yeah, it was fun. There was like a dozen people there, and you also interviewed my podcast co-host Ted Shilowitz.
Yeah. So we had. I mean, it's.
Shout out to Ted Shilowitz if he's listening to this.
Yes.
Ted is a great guy. I love him.
We should do it in VR one day as well.
Yeah. Ted and I did we fooled around a lot. We met in Golf Plus. We played Walkabout Mini Golf.
Nice.
We met up in VR chat. You know, because in a way we were kind of like kids killing time.
Yeah, of course. And you won the social interaction.
Yeah. No, it was great.
But again,
in fact, I see Ted more that way than I see him in real life.
You see, and let us get back 2 steps. Meeting person in VR, it's much more immersive than looking at him via Zoom.
Well, 100%, especially if you can do a thing.
Yeah.
Especially if you can be doing a thing.
Yeah. So that goes back to like, what can we actually call a metaverse? Can the normal game be a metaverse? In my opinion, no, it's not immersive enough. No, it needs to be, your brain needs to believe. You need to be there. You need to be immersed in that experience. I'm not saying you need to wear a Tesla suit or something. It helps, but it's something, you know, additional, let's call it like this.
So here's an interesting topic that I've been talking about a lot related to mixed. Well, first of all, I think, you know, the killer app for VR, in my opinion, is training and simulation. So it's really, really great at that. And there is no substitute for it. So I'm really, you know, have been surprised that the adoption hasn't been faster and more widespread in industry. I guess there's too much friction.
It's friction and cost.
You know, and it's too hard to program for right now.
You know, 4090s, 5090s, GPUs. You have to have a good computer. You have to have a good headset, which is capable of.
And then you have to create an experience which is truly meaningful for training.
Exactly.
So for flight simulation, for driving, that's kind of easy. It's obvious. But for other, you know, I remember the mixed reality vendors, HoloLens and Magic Leap, were targeting sort of training for new workflows, for traditional workflows. Like if you're a chemist, you can capture what you're doing and the trainee chemist can walk through your steps literally, you know, wearing the headset at the same time. And none of the systems ever became very widespread.
Yeah, exactly. It's more local, company to company. Like the Lynx headset we just talked about before we started rolling. It's used in some factories for the workers to overlay some of the information about the boxes.
Right. They have that flip up
exactly. So you can work in stuff. There is a lot of things we know about in VR, AR, which we think about as a mainstream, but then there's a lot of use cases which we have no idea about, which companies are doing in universities.
And suddenly now you know all about them.
I know a lot because, you know, I work with Tesla Suit and Lynx and, you know, VR engineers, and we do our own headsets. So now I kind of absorb a lot of those things, but for general public, they have no idea what it's used
So
for.
General public adoption seems to be a bit stalled.
Yeah, I would say so. It will change soon, in my opinion.
Why?
Vision Pro and Android XR.
You think that the Vision Pro is going to ultimately succeed?
It is a fantastic product, number one, in my opinion. Number two, they've done everything right in terms of how they roll out those things into the market. So the Vision Pro, which we have right now, it's a development kit.
Yes.
The best development kit the world had ever seen in entire life.
And why didn't they market it that way?
It's Apple. Apple will always market you the vision. Apple will always show you what's coming. And they did, you know, they tamed it down. They did it a, you know, good job. They put it up there, but they also don't push it on you too much. You know, some people like me, they have
Wow, you are so much credit.
I love what they've done, and it's coming from someone who is building their own headset.
Yes, of course.
In terms of the hardware, they've done a fantastic job. It's a masterpiece. It's the best hardware product I think the world have ever seen in terms of the consumer electronics.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot imagine anything else more profound, more complex. But in terms of I'm actually making a video. I'm preparing a video. It takes me too much time, but I'm talking about the basis of the ecosystem and software. Now, we just look at the old Mac I have on the table there, 9085.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at the Mac OS, the basic of this has not changed since then. It's the same today. The Mac we're recording with, it has the same operating system, the same logic, the same stuff. The same happens with VisionOS. They've designed VisionOS, the way how we operate, looking with eyes, clicking with hands, and the way how VisionOS is built will last for another 50 to 60 years. And all the devices, look what Android XR is doing. They're copying VisionOS. They work with Windows, looking and pinching and doing this. That's exactly that. The Windows copied Mac in terms of the user interface and stuff. So what I'm trying to say is Apple has laid a foundation for the next generation devices and next generation operating system. People don't understand how profound that is. And the next generation devices which are coming, whether it's glasses with small monitor or smaller Vision Pro with, fully see-through cameras and stuff, will all be building on top of this foundation. And I use Vision Pro every day.
I have to say my usage and my experience is different. I'll tell you what I'm really excited about is the use of XR glasses or AR glasses as a platform for sensors and AI, right? Suddenly,
like Google showed, right?
Yeah. So suddenly the AI knows, your sensors, your cameras, your audio is all feeding into AI contextual information. And what's more, the AI is bringing in information not from just the headset, but also from the handset that you have to have with you. It's got geolocation. It's got, you can have all sorts of third-party applications running against the AI. In fact, the AI can start to morph into an operating system where it's like the movie Her, and you're just saying, read me my email. And you're not
already there.
Yeah. And so exactly, it's already there. It's already there. And I think that's why, Meta is having, and when I say so much, sold a couple of million pairs of Ray-Ban glasses. That is not mass market success.
Meta's in trouble, in my opinion.
We'll go back. I think the metaverse is on a very, in fact, I've said this on the podcast. I hate to digress, but this is a juicy one. If Meta shut down Reality Labs, having invested $100 billion, their stock would go up.
Correct. And not many people would notice.
Not many people would notice. Well, investors would notice because their dividends would go up. Would go up 25%.
That's true. But sorry that we.
So we were digressing. So I was talking about AR glasses. I mean, here's the thing. If it has all the features that I just described to you, right? Sensors, AI, audio, all the things that are on your phone. I'm looking at this iPhone right now. I watch movies on this iPhone. It's got a really big, fucking great screen. It's going to be so long before I have the equivalent technology on my face without friction. Is it really necessary? Can I just continue to use this screen as I always have, just in conjunction with the headset?
Let me paint you a picture and the correct vision what will happen, in my opinion.
Please.
So you will not have one device to do it all. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
If you look at what Google has shown on their Google I/O recently, they showed us, of course, Project Mulan from Samsung, which is the copy of Vision Pro. Does exactly the same thing, but with great AI integration, what Apple doesn't have yet. So for example, it can do, you look at something and then it remembers where you looked and it, reads everything. So you can ask these questions. AI in Google headsets works amazingly well. And they showed the see-through normal glasses with a one screen on top, which can do a little bit of 3D, showing you the navigation, notifications from the phone, and also AI. All the AI things which you said, like, hey, I 20 minutes ago, I looked at that bookshelf in the store. What was the name of the book I was having in my hand? And it will tell you the book name was this and this. This is reality today. This glasses will ship by the end of the year.
Oh, 100%. Well, that now you're talking about another aspect of it, which is something that Mark Billinghurst calls story living.
Yeah.
And it's where AI is essentially monitoring your life.
Everything, correct.
And I mean, its applications are literally endless, right? What were Artur and I talking about yesterday?
Or even 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. And at the end of the day, it would be like, here's your to-do list. Here's a review of the day. You talked to him.
Yeah.
You said you would do this.
Yeah.
You talked to your wife. You told her. She sent you the shopping list. Here it is.
Yeah.
And, just your entire life organized with reminders and agents.
And we're much closer to that than people actually anticipate. What I'm trying to say is...
How close is that? What do you mean by that?
Okay. So I think the wearing normal glasses, see-through glasses with a small monitor with AI monitoring you the whole day, we are probably less than a year away because Google is introducing those glasses by the end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
It already has this capability. It already can remember everything and it has a full day battery life. What I'm trying to say is...
By the way, so Apple is probably 2 years behind them in delivering a similar...
So Apple is, okay, on the hardware and operating system, VisionOS, they're ahead of Google. On the AI integration into that, they are behind Google, and they're trying to kind of revamp themselves and stuff. I'm sure they will handle it, no problem, but it will, they are still behind. Overall, I would say they are kind of balanced, but VisionOS, I've not had a chance to use the Android XR. I had talked to people who did use the Android XR, and they said it's good, but it's not on the level of Vision Pro yet. Which, again, I would say it's the same story as with phones. Android phones are good. They're getting there, but iOS is iOS. It has the ecosystem. And now we're coming to a problem, which going into your comment about the Mark Zuckerberg. I think Meta is in a big trouble. Why? Because look at what happened. They spent $100 billion, and the best what they can come up with right now is the Quest, which sells a couple million units, 10, 15, 20 million units. And they don't have an operating system. They are reliant on, they asked Google, can we use Google apps in our store? Google said, no, of course not, because they're using their Android XR. They want all the apps be available on Android XR exclusively, right? So they spent $100 billion. They got Quest. They got, let's say, 20 million sold devices. We know statistics. Out of that, majority of the devices are used one time per month. Some of them are not even powered on anymore. And only a small fraction of people are using it every day. And who are those people? Those are kids playing 2 or 3 main games, which are Gorilla Tag, sometimes VR Chat, and sometimes they play, I don't know.
So all apps they can't make money from.
Correct. Now, so now he has a dilemma, right? Because the market is shifting. The VisionOS, it's a very robust ecosystem. It's like, iOS or macOS on the computer, and the Android XR is the same thing.
So you're saying basically Meta cannot survive the challenge of...
They don't have the ecosystem of apps. They don't have developers. They don't have active developers building on their ecosystem, and they don't have the users because, Ray-Ban, it's cool because it's Ray-Ban. But honestly speaking, many people would not trust their whole life monitoring thing to Meta. Apple, different story. Google, it already has all your photos. It already has all your emails. You already trust Google. You already trust Apple. But you don't trust Meta because you had to have Facebook account, which you already don't use anymore. Nobody uses it anymore. They are in the middle, and they're dependent on other ecosystems, right? Because Apple turned off their revenue of ads on iOS.
Yeah, but then they used AI and made up for it.
Sure, but again, you can't. You are all.
By the way, I don't know if you saw the announcement. They are now going to be making ads for their customers, so customers no longer have to make their own advertisements.
I'm not sure how this will go. Again, I'm very skeptical of where Meta is right now, because Meta is basically, they have to write off the $100 billion because they can't capitalize more.
Right. Well, they've already set up the shutdown of Horizon Worlds.
And also the Quest. I don't believe there will be any more Quests.
You think they'll shift completely to AR?
I'm sure they will. They have to. Because Quest sales are not growing. They're declining.
Right.
Based on the report.
Do you think they could spin it off?
I just think that attention span of Mark Zuckerberg is so shifty that they will just write it off and they will consider it the next thing they want to concentrate on, whether it's see-through glasses with AI agents or whatever. But I just don't think Quest will see a huge upgrade, and the operating system of the Horizon, how they call it right now, they rename it 5 times already. So they call it Horizon operating system right now. Even if you look at the UI, you can clearly see. I mean, I know how UI is built because we're building UI for Somnium or for VR. If you look at the UI, it's not consistent. If you look at the VisionOS UI, you can see that there is like a brick foundation. It's there, and they build it to last for 50 years. That you will be using the same logic of operating the spatial operating systems as they use in Vision Pro 1, you will be using in Vision Pro 10. It will be the same. It will not, I guarantee it will not change. It will become better and more useful, but the foundation will be the same. And that is the sign of a good operating system. And that is also the sign that Apple has planned it for, they already have plans for the next 5 versions of Vision Pros. You just don't know about it, or we don't know about it.
It's so interesting because, there is a drumbeat, on the horizon of people who are pissed off at Tim Cook.
Oh, of course.
And feel like his leadership is less than visionary. And then you got Johnny Ive making a new device, which is probably a life logging device.
Sorry. That I have to dismiss right away.
Really?
That video with Joni and Sam Altman talking to each other.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
Come on, man. You don't think I think one of the most amazing things that's happened in the past 5 years has been the emergence of OpenAI.
No, AI is great
as a tech giant.
But you don't. Okay, I just don't understand the whole. But remember, people laughed at this. This was the laughable talk of all the people who use Android or who use different.
By the way, you saw the movie Her, right? Of course, everybody has. Yeah. So that little device, like this little lapel pin that I'm wearing, was that was the next generation. That was in that movie. That was what comes after the smartphone.
We shall see. Because I still believe that the visual cues and visual. So I'm more of a vision of imagine a Vision Pro 3 times lighter, still with a see-through stuff, but you can overlay the digital layer on top of the physical world. When Vision Pro came out, I said to my friends,
aside from playing a game.
No. Imagine this situation where I said to my friends, Vision Pro came out, and I said, guys, in 5 or whatever years will be, going out and looking at Prague city center without having the digital overlay on top of it will feel empty. Because you will be missing so much more information, and not like those crazy LinkedIn ads, idiotic things that everywhere is ad or something. No. The information you want to see. For example, I will say, "Hey Siri," sorry that I just woke up everyone. I will say, "Show me the nearest restaurants with 5 stars," and it will show me not on the phone. It will show me on those buildings, and there will be 5-star restaurant, Italian cuisine. I will say, "Okay, navigate me to the closest one," or we are in a conference, I will see the name tag above you.
But can't all that be done in audio?
No.
Well, I'm sorry, you still have your smartphone with you. Can't you use audio and this screen together?
At some point you won't. The smartphones are at their pinnacle. The way how smartphones are won't change much for the future. You might power your glasses from the smartphone, which I would say the very logical thing. Instead of having a puck, you can power the lighter glasses from your smartphone and get all the information. But again, if you want to get a visual cue and overlay, I'm in a conference. I have 0 clue who those people are. I take the glasses on.
Well, they
the name tags.
I hope that would be. I always thought that idea was a killer app for LinkedIn. Right, you're at a conference and like anybody but
LinkedIn does have an app on VisionOS.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, but there's a big privacy issue with that.
But you will allow it or not?
Right, you will allow it, especially if you're at a conference.
Of course.
Right, you're at a conference where you want to be recognized.
Yeah, you are in control. Right. And you will control what information you want people to see. Today in iOS, you can also connect to phones and they will exchange information. We allow it because we want to connect with each other, right? So this is, in my opinion, the future of visual is a big part. Audio is an interim step. Because right now, even Google already showed, hey, you can have a one small screen. And Meta is coming up with the same glasses with the one screen where you can see some information, some notifications. But the problem is Meta has to ask the control and access to the data on your phone. Google doesn't need to ask. It already has all your data. It can show you all notifications. iOS can show you all notifications. That's the biggest difference, because Google will not give Mark Zuckerberg any information for free, nor iOS will do. Why would they?
Right.
There's no incentive for them. They will build their own products. And that's the biggest risk for Meta, in my opinion, right now. The Quest is kind of declining, and the glasses, the alternative, is not there for operating.
The Meta, I mean, if the developers are any proxy, Meta is, as you said, in trouble.
Exactly.
Because the independent developers, the developers who aren't in the top 20, are having a very hard time.
Not only money-wise, but they're also having a hard time to use development tools because they're not updated correctly. Some SDKs are broken. Some callbacks which have in their SDKs are not updated. You know, that is the real pain when you build. So
they're costing you a lot of time and money.
Exactly. So instead, they would just go to Android XR or VisionOS, and everything is there. You know, I build my app, my Authenticity app, my social network app on Vision Pro. So I have Vision Pro app, and it's working.
So you spend a lot of time in Vision Pro.
I do spend a lot of time. Mainly, for me, it's a kind of either sometimes at work, so I have my screen and I have some Twitter and Discord, and I have my Mac mirrored. But also, it's calming down time when I go to bed and not interrupting anyone. I lay down like this and I watch the movie or YouTube, or I just read some article in a position which is comfortable for me. Nobody's hearing, because I'm hearing my AirPods. I'm not stuff, and it's a fantastic device for spatial videos or reading and stuff. So I do use it every day.
That is amazing. I have never heard a full-throated endorsement like that for the Vision Pro.
Listen, I'm not affiliated with Apple.
No, I know you're not. You're speaking as a user, which is the most powerful endorsement they could get.
As someone who actually built the headset, I look at their product and I say, this is the good product.
Yes.
It's a good product. Yes. It's a well-made product, which actually has a lot of aspects which will be used in the next generation product. So when I looked at the Vision Pro, I said, okay, these guys have planned this for the next 7 years. They have everything laid out.
So that's interesting. Let's get back to your business for a second, because an entrepreneur in the technology business has a vision for what the world will look like 5 years from now, and you're trying to steer your business toward that port.
Slightly different one than Apple. So my, we're not trying to, in Somnium Space metaverse, let's say, we are realistically, I'm not trying to have 1 million concurrent users or something like that. But there'll always be an amount of people which is constantly growing. It's very slow, as you said, but it's growing, which will want to come back home in the evening, take off all their devices and stuff, and put the full immersion glasses and immerse themselves with the full body tracking, with everything inside the full immersive world. And that's where Somnium comes in, because it allows you to do things, to have crazy parties or experiences, which you will never be able to do in real life. How matter you try, you will not, because this is, something. So that's number one. Number two, we're building a platform for people who are fantastic digital creators, and they want to monetize and make money on what they're actually loving to do, meaning building avatars, building worlds. So this is where the platform, it's kind of a mix of, I would say, Ready Player One, Snow Crash, and The Labyrinth of Reflections. It's not a book from a Russian author. He's a sci-fi. It's a fantastic VR book. And it's a mix of all those three things. And I don't think people will spend in Somnium 10 hours a day. No. But they will spend the most amazing hours a day in the most amazing experiences they can ever.
So let's talk about some of the, gosh, there's so much to talk about. I'm interviewing you the whole time. The only way this is different from my podcast is I don't have Ted, I don't have Roni, and I'm not looking at the screen. I'm looking at you. I never interview anybody not looking at a screen. So I don't know what the experience of this is. What was I going to say? Okay. So I wanted to ask you about a couple of other of the metaverses, just to get your opinion. We talked about the game metaverses.
Okay. I'm very honest. I'm more open guy. I'm open guy.
Game metaverses. We've talked about Meta Horizon, which they've already said is a dead man walking. I mean, now they're trying to make it into some lame version of Roblox, and if it doesn't become that really quickly, they're going to kill it.
They should have bought Rec Room, and that's.
I don't know why they didn't. That makes no sense. I said that at the time.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway, water under the bridge, so to speak. when you get to be a big company like Meta, you really think you can do it all. I remember in the 90s when I worked at AOL and we thought we were the internet.
Right.
We were like, why don't we control the banking business?
Yeah. No.
Because,
God not.
for God's sake, it's the stupidest idea I ever heard. I thought it was stupid at the time. Anyway, so then there's so many of these little metaverses out there, like Sandbox, Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Come on. Really?
They raised $400 million.
Okay, one second. For that segment,
do you have a token?
Do
you have a Bored Ape?
For that segment, I need to wear it because now we're getting
a shovel could fall on you.
I don't own token of Bored Ape. I would never own a token of Bored Ape. I said, I said I will buy one when it costs $10. I'll buy one.
They're not there yet.
Because I'll buy one and I'll burn it in the video.
Are they really going to build something?
If they didn't build so far, I don't believe they would ever build anything.
But wait, there was
$100 million and the result is zero? Like, what the hell?
Do you think they stole the money?
I don't know what they did with the money, but the fact that the result is not there, it's infuriating. Why? Because it harmed us. These behaviors, the wash trading, if we talk about all the other...
And what's up with Sandbox?
I have no clue, but I'm trying to tell... Okay.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm trying to tell. Like, we started to do blockchain technology inside the metaverse before it was called NFTs. Like we were one of the first to do that, and we do it for the tech, not for the hype. Because when we were doing it and we were tokenizing, me and Philip Rosedale, 2000, Jesus Christ.
Right, well, Philip was doing high fidelity then.
Yes, but when we got met with him and when we got to know each other and we started talking and we both believe, and maybe he's not believing anymore, but I believe still in a decentralized future.
Oh, he very much does. Yeah.
Exactly. So what we did with Philip is we created with him, we called it that way, Virtual Reality Blockchain Alliance. Before anyone knew what the blockchain is, and to be honest, not many people knew what virtual reality is. And what we did is we created our own chain as a test chain between Somnium and High Fidelity, and we ran the nodes just to see if we can do the interoperability correctly. Okay? 2017, if I recall correctly. We kept building. Then, Ethereum started to gain kind of traction in terms of development tools. And we switched to Ethereum because we thought, okay, this is a good layer to build on top of. There's a lot of building tools and it actually works really well. And it's very decentralized. So these are the things we were looking for. So we tokenized all the things in Somnium Space, in a game. And that's how we started. And we never failed to deliver the vision. We said, we will do this. You'll be able to buy avatars. You'll be able to do this. You'll be able to do it in VR. Now you can do, native transactions. And we're using the money which we're getting from the transactions which people are doing inside the game to fund our development. We are doing it exactly the same way today. Okay. All the other companies who then came, when the hype came in, then all the other companies with the bad and good intentions came in and started to raise crazy amounts of money because they were spending crazy amounts of marketing. Instead of showing you the real product, they were showing you the CGI trailers. And they were throwing those trailers and saying, like, that's how it will be. Give us the money. And then some people like Bored Ape with some crazy, dirty techniques raised crazy amount of money, paid celebrities and stuff like that to learn money from the customers and build nothing. And then what happened? The customers got pissed, rightfully so. But then they threw all people who build on blockchain into the same category, scam. Mm-hmm. So now, if we sometimes deal with the fact that we come to creators and we say, hey guys, come build on the platform. We have this tools, Unity SDK, blah, 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 blah. And I don't want to deal with that. And I'm like, guys, we've been one of the original ones. We're still building a lot of cool stuff. No, but they heard somewhere that Bored Ape or whoever it is, whether it's decentralized, they didn't deliver on something, and then suddenly they are pissed. Rightfully so, but we are also damaged. So the hype of blockchain has done so much damage for this technology because the technology is fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's a fantastic technology for free speech, for metaverse, to control your own transactions, right? It's a fantastic technology, but it got really, really badly damaged by, let's call, bad actors, whether on purpose, with a lot of like this, or not on purpose. And that's unfortunate. So coming back to your question, no, I don't own any Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs.
And
really not.
And then there also is Decentraland. You brought that up.
yeah, it's again, let's say like this, it works somehow. There's something there's you can at least log in, but given how much money they raised, the quality of the product of any product you just mentioned is far away from what it should have been.
And remember the whole pay to play category.
Oh my God, yeah.
That has said they scammed a whole ton of money out of a lot of people.
It's unfortunate. It's to me, it's unfortunate. I've been the voice of, a lot of blockchain people who were bad actors or good, they hate me for that in the blockchain community because I was always open about this and very vocal about this. I was saying like this dismissed, this dismissed. People asking like, what do you think about that game? There was like one space game on Solana or something, and some big investors were asking me like, what do you think we're playing? And I said, guys, like, if I look at just what they promote, it's just CGI on top of CGI on top. Like, be careful. Be careful.
Yeah, I don't know how so many credible companies and people ended up paying companies like
I don't know. I just don't understand it. And again, with all the respect to some people who really work hard, I guess, in the communities and stuff, but for me, it's all about dignity and all about the transparency. If you promise something to the customer and you promise a product, you better deliver that product, okay? And yes, if it means that you will earn less, then so be it. Like, this is the, how can you not deliver? And if you raise $400 million, Jesus Christ, how much you can build. If I get a $400 million, I'll bring you the world, in terms of capabilities. We'll make more features, we'll make more headsets, more variants, all this kind. But yeah, I don't get it. I'm very angry. I'm very passionately angry about that, unfortunately. Yeah. But it's okay. We're battling our way through this crowd knowledge.
Well, there are some companies out there like Blue Sky trying to bring back the reputation of Web3.
Sure. I mean, again, ourselves included, we are building and we are proving with the hardware releases, with delivering to people real products, real services. People realize like, oh, the blockchain is actually doesn't mean that it's automatically bad. But yes, of course, I should say to people, if you see someone trying to sell you something with NFTs and you see a shiny trailer, be careful.
Yeah, NFTs were really a huge landmine. Yeah. So many people were buying them. I was shocked.
Yes, but with no reason.
Yeah.
Where's the use case?
It was just internet hype, I guess.
But so much money was lost to that hype, and so much people.
Yeah, isn't that what happens, right? And there were true believers trying to explain it, and so many conferences around it, and so many kind of shady characters. Yeah. We won't be needing that. We're not driving up a truck full of bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we try to continue to build all the features. We revamped Somnium. We call it Somnium 3.0. So finally, we have the fully native ability to come. So I come in VR, you're wearing a cool hat. I click on your hat. If it's on sale, I can buy it right away from VR. The backend is on blockchain, but you as a user, you don't feel it. You buy it, it's in your wallet, done. In real time. Again, between me and you. And Somnium cannot stop this transaction.
Right. And that is in my crypto wallet.
Correct.
Same wallet I keep my Bitcoin in.
MetaMask, for example, you can connect your MetaMask wallet to Somnium account.
Yep.
Done. That moment, or for example, we have a tip jar. And you deploy, if you have your wallet connected, you can deploy tip jar. If you're a musician, and people are doing it already in Somnium, you're playing the guitar, you're singing, and people tip in real time, and you can see it, and the transaction is happening in real time.
And they're just putting in Cube.
Yeah, Cube. But soon also dollars via Stripe.
Right.
So you have a choice.
Yeah.
If you want to go full decentralization or partly.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah, that's my belief in how VR should be. People can transact with each other and stuff.
Yeah, we will see, and we'll see if Meta is still in the game.
I think with the amount of money they have, they are, because they can burn a lot of money still, so they can still play around. The only question is how long will it last, and can they catch up on some foundational vision? Because right now the foundation of Facebook is gone.
Yeah, I mean it's incredible. That stock in the past 2.5 years when they were in the basement. And a lot of that is because of AI and speculation about AI. You also have the continued decline of the media business in favor of social media. So that's YouTube and TikTok and Instagram Reels sucking in a tremendous amount of attention.
Yeah.
And sort of, so, that's the decline of the media business, in my opinion, just is going to open it up for automation and, companies like Google and Meta are going to end up owning some of the big media businesses. Meta is just too valuable.
The problem with that is business model is that it's highly volatile and changeable. Look at Meta. Meta has earned the most of its money, not from the product they created, but the product they bought.
From Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever. So now you're seeing why it's important to own a foundational layer. And foundational layer is operating systems, both hardware and software. Apple has it. Google has it. It's very hard to get into that game.
Right.
Because everything else uses those things to actually connect to the user. In social media, if you're in social media, you have a tremendous revenue Meta has from ads. But then the trend changes. Something happens. Something will be different and then they'll either have to acquire someone who is a star, or they'll have to create themselves. And creating themselves, so far, the track record is not
but given, I mean, that we live in a world where the valuations of these big tech companies are so high that everybody has a price, right? Everybody thought they were crazy to pay $1 billion for Instagram or WhatsApp. I don't know, the $18 billion for
WhatsApp, yeah.
And in both cases, I think if you spun off those companies,
it was fantastic investment.
Yeah,
fantastic investment.
Yeah, and they haven't fucked it up.
Yeah, but right now, I think also the time has changed. Right now, for Meta to buy a company, much more complex. Also, regulations come in. And
I mean, yes and no. I mean, I'm sure Meta hasn't bought enough Trump coin yet. When they buy enough Trump coin, they'll have a lot more latitude.
Probably, but even from the founder's perspective, if there is a hot startup, there will be more competition right now battling for that company.
Yeah.
The Apple is there, Google is there, companies are looking at, there's a lot of investors.
Yeah.
Regarding OpenAI, the product is good. I use it all the time. I also use Manus AI and DeepSeek as well. Quite good as well. DeepSeek, fantastic for free.
I've actually started using Perplexity Pro.
Never used that.
Perplexity Pro is quite good. And it sort of made me a little less in love with ChatGPT, which has some very, very weird quirks lately.
Yeah.
Their recent update to make it more engaging has made it rather a bad writer and obsequious, to say the least.
Yeah. Do you know Manus AI?
I use Meta AI, yeah.
No, not Meta AI, Manus AI.
Manus AI, no.
This is the Asian Chinese AI.
Manus? And you're running that on the web or off of
on the web. So I'll show you. Like, I'm sitting.
So this is manus.ai?
Yeah. Manus.im.
Oh, manus.im.
Yeah. So I'm sitting with Charlie Fink, and we are recording a podcast. Search the web and find with the podcast about VR. Wait, the podcast about VR. Search the web and find me find me 10 pictures of Charlie so that I can use them for a thumbnail of this video. Also generate me 5 variants of thumbnail. Now watch what happens. The cool part is it's a fully agent part. So you can go to websites, download things, save them, then combine them. And now it will spin up the new machine. It opens up the virtual machine and does here. It turns on the computer. And it does a lot of things in the browser, and it downloads stuff. And boom, here you go. It already opened the browser, and it does that. And
those are all the pictures of me on the web for the past 10 years.
See, it now searches for next pictures and again.
Yeah, taking a lot of them from YouTube.
Yeah, whatever. I don't need to care, basically. But now it's spawned another machine with Ubuntu.
To get you.
To get the graphic design rolling or whatever it be. So save it there and then process the pictures and things like that. This is just the version 1 of what will happen in the next year. Like, the progress is incredible. In this age.
Yeah.
So my time in AI is between ChatGPT for normal text things like, hey, refine me this reply of email, blah blah blah, and this for more complex tasks. Hey, I'm doing research. I need to find all the I don't know, creators who are creating worlds in Somnium Space and who published about this. Can you give me the list? Boom, Excel done in like 20 minutes. It's done. So this is, we'll see what the result is, especially in terms of generating. I'm sure it will save pictures and you'll have tons of your pictures now. But the result of generating the good thumbnail, it could be tricky. But yeah,
I hear you. Yeah, I'm spending a lot of time on AI now, and especially generative AI.
Yeah.
And the ability of AI to create videos.
VO3 from Google. We don't have it in Europe still. GDPR, I hate it. But,
yeah, VO3 is quite impressive. Oh, look at that. That made a really cute.
Oh, wow.
I'm wearing it. It just brought up an image.
We'll show it.
Yeah. We'll bring that in line of me wearing the Magic Leap 1.
That's actually not bad.
That's a picture that Alan Smithson took at I'm trying to remember. It's he took it at an event in Canada. I can't even remember what. There were so many VR events.
Yeah.
Before the pandemic.
Yep.
So that was one of them. That was in Vancouver.
Look how clean cut it is.
I mean, it looks just like me. I mean, that's the picture.
No, but what I mean how they cut it in and put it on because the VR.
Yeah, no, they did a little treatment on the graphics.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice. They've got me, they drew a VR headset on there too.
Yeah.
It's got a nice little sort of half-tone background. Oh, here's another one.
I asked for 5, right?
Yeah, so that's the fat Charlie.
But the metaverse talk is nice.
Yeah.
Look how it did the. It's like I can use this as a thumbnail, like easily.
Of course you would. Yeah,
easily. So, and I did nothing right now. I didn't to search pictures.
No, this is quite extraordinary.
Yeah. So I use Manus.
And Manus is free.
No, Manus is paid. So they have some free credits. I think it used to be invite only. I'm pretty sure it's still invite only. And I can give you the invite code. You can try it.
Right. Great.
But this is the one I pay for, and ChatGPT is the other one I pay for. The rest I use as a free. I mean, Google I have included in my phone because I bought the Pixel and they include 1 year of Gemini.
Yeah.
So I use Gemini sometimes as a quick.
I don't think Gemini or Grok are that good.
Gemini is actually pretty impressive, but the user interface somehow is.
I just feel like Gemini is so weighted down by fake guardrails that that doesn't quite look like me, but he's a handsome.
A little bit of Photoshop. Listen, this is virtual reality insights. Nice. Okay, we'll show all those pictures in the edit because this is fun.
There's an app that just came out called Glance.
Mm-hmm.
And Glance is a lock screen app. So we used to have, screensaver apps that would deliver like the news.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember those.
I do.
The 90s.
I do.
So now they're doing that with phones. So they announced a deal with Samsung to put it on 50. That. Oh, there's another one. That's another old fat Charlie picture.
VR expert.
So, well, in VR, nobody knows you're a dog. So it's a lock screen app. You take a selfie, and it starts delivering onto your lock screen photos of you in exotic places, looking great in new clothes. Oh my God!
It's impressive and depressive in the same time.
And so, first of all, it takes for me, it took off 20 pounds and 20 years.
Oh,
so I look great.
Okay, exactly.
Forget about it. I could be naked. I look great.
Yeah.
I love the way I look. And then they add to it all of the fancy clothes that are perfectly tailored, right? That fit perfectly.
Yeah.
And if I like them, I can save them or I can buy them right there.
Okay, nice.
And they have 400 different brands. Oh, wow. So they start to get to know what you click on, what you save. And I imagine it's going to be quite irresistible to a lot of people.
No, I'm sure.
It's a great idea.
Absolutely.
And a great use of generative AI.
I think Google just killed that startup partly because Google has the same app within the Gemini where you can try closing in real time. And because Google has the backend of sales and their marketplace, that's where Google come in. Or maybe they will buy them. Who knows?
Yeah, it's possible. They're actually backed by Google and Jio. They're an Indian company.
Okay. Yeah. And also, by the way, the cool part with this is you can create a website and you can deploy the website by its own. So you can say, deploy me this test website, and it will deploy, and you can access and test it, and it's all there. You can delete it to make it private, or you can deploy the website, and it will be there. That is impressive. All done within 5 minutes. I use it for rapid prototyping all the time. Hey, go to somniumspace.com, make the mobile version of it. I think I did at some point. We have a Somnium VR1 store, and I said, give me one pager website, mobile friendly for Somnium VR1, and it did a fantastic job. I was like, what? It almost looks better than what we did. 5 minutes.
Incredible.
Like, oh my God. So yeah, this is impressive.
Do you think we're headed toward mass unemployment due to AI?
No, I think it will. I'm more on a camp where I think it's the same with every time. People are adaptive. We will adapt. It will close some doors, but it will open many other doors. It will create more opportunities. Yeah.
I hope so.
I hope so. Feel the transition, but the transition will not be we're going from 100 drivers to 0 drivers.
Well, I mean, I like this because, of course, there's widespread panic. That goes along with political and economic changes. So
it's people are always panicking, but they're always panicking about everything. We are people. We're panicking about everything. Yeah. Oh my God! Tomorrow we invent the nuclear or this and that. We're panicking. In the end of the day, it benefits the humanity quite a bit. So I think it's inevitable.
So what's funny? Entrepreneurs are optimists.
We have to be, otherwise I would be dead. Honestly, I would be crazy already. But
I think. Well, what do you think? Is this a good time to wrap up our chat?
I think we could. Yeah.
This was a great podcast.
Good
I really appreciate it. Yeah. Let's go eat some spishkova.
Yes. All right.
All right. Bye, everybody. Bye.